Hello children, let me welcome you to the virtual training center of the Brihan Mumbai Mahanagar Palika. My name is Shraddha Teacher. Children, we are in the middle of the COVID-19 pandemic, isn't it? Because of that, we are not able to go to school, but that doesn't mean that we are going to stop learning. We are going to meet here regularly through the virtual training center to learn many lessons in EVS. So come on, let's go to a lesson in EVS. So children, let us start with another lesson in standard 4th EVS 2, and this is going to be the midpoint of our portion. That is, we have 20 lessons in our textbook for EVS 2, and this is going to be lesson number 10. So this is actually a continuation of the story that we started in lesson number 9, that is Pratapgarh Makes History. And the name of this lesson is lesson number 10, Baji Prabhu and the memorable battle of God Khind. Okay, now in this lesson, like I told you, we are going to continue the story that we started last time. So let us take a quick look at what we did in the lesson number 9 last time, that is Pratapgarh Makes History. So there we saw that the Adil Shah was quite worried and quite anxious about the exploits of Shivaji Maharaj. Okay, he was getting worried, and his worry and his anxiety were increasing day by day. That is when he called a meeting of all his sardars, and there in that particular meeting, in that particular gathering, there was this lady called Badi Sahiba who asked a question to her sardars saying, "Tell me, who is willing to march against Shivaji and put an end to his rebellion?" So she wanted someone from Adil Shah's camp to volunteer and say that, okay, I will march against Shivaji and I will put an end to his rebellion. So there was this one person called Afzal Khan, who was the Subedar of Vai. He said he was an extremely huge person. He was a very talented, very brave person. But at the same time, he was a very proud person. He was very vain. Okay, so he stood up and he said, "Shivaji, who is Shivaji? I shall arrest him and bring him here. Or if that is not possible, I shall bring his dead body." So see how much of confidence he had. He did not even know who Shivaji is, but then he felt that it will be a very easy task for him to bring Shivaji to book or to punish Shivaji. Having said this, he agreed to meet Shivaji, and he called Shivaji for a friendly meeting. So he called Shivaji, he said, "You are like my son. You come and meet me and you return my forts. I will make you a Sardar." Now Shivaji Maharaj was an extremely shrewd king. Okay, he knew that this person Afzal Khan was not trustworthy. So see, he fortified himself, that is, he made himself strong in defense. He, you can say, took a lot of precaution about his personal safety. In case Afzal Khan would meet him with love and genuine friendship, then Shivaji was of course ready to extend a hand. But then he knew that Afzal Khan might cheat him. That is why, see how he readied himself. He wore a coat of mail and he had put on a wagnak. He had hid a bichwa. Then he had protected his head also by wearing a helmet, and he had a dandapatta which he would use if necessary. Now, as predicted, or as we know, Shivaji Maharaj's doubts turned out to be true. And when Afzal Khan embraced Shivaji, what did he do? He held Shivaji's neck in his iron grip and he stabbed him on the side with his dagger. So he had also come ready to cheat this person whom he had called on the pretext of being friends. So he had called him to make him a friend. But then in his heart, he knew that as soon as he comes, I will kill him. So imagine if Shivaji was not prepared, if Shivaji would have been gullible, okay, if Shivaji would have been innocent and naive, he would have got killed at the hands of Afzal Khan that day. But Shivaji was extremely smart, like we discussed, and so what he did is he drove the bichwa into Khan's stomach and he tore open his guts. And the Khan, he was wounded very badly. Okay, he also injured him with the Vagnak. Shivaji made use of the Vagnak also. Vagnak means a tiger's claw. And the wounded Khan, he fell down. Now his bodyguard, Bada Sayyid, was also killed by Shivaji's bodyguard. Okay, we saw the entire story in the lesson in the previous video. If you want to see it again, you can always open that video and see the lesson again. Okay, so after all this was done, his army was also totally destroyed. Shivaji's army drove away the army of Afzal Khan's. Alright, and somehow, with great difficulty, Fazal Khan's son, Fazal Khan was Afzal Khan's son, he escaped from there. He was lucky to have escaped from there, and he went to Bijapur. Now, at this stage, imagine how more angry Adil Shah would have got. How Adil Shah would have got more frustrated, because it was in frustration that he had decided to send one of his Sardars to kill Shivaji. But here that Sardar only got killed. Okay, so now we will move on and proceed to see what happens in this part of our lesson. So Shivaji now went ahead and he conquered Panhala. So let's see how that happens. And then Adil Shah gets angrier at Shivaji. So when Bijapur was still mourning the death of Afzal Khan and the complete rout of his army, rout means destruction, completely the army was wiped out, Shivaji captured the Panhala fort from the Bijapur garrison. So now he laid his eyes on a new fort and he captured the Panhala fort. Now imagine Adil Shah was already mourning the death of Afzal Khan. He was already upset about the rout of his army. And in the face of this, what did Shivaji do? He did not keep quiet. He moved on and he captured another fort, that is the Panhala fort from the Bijapur garrison. That is, whatever forts Bijapur had with it, Panhala fort was also captured by Shivaji. This made Adil Shah very angry. So this threw Adil Shah into a fit of wild rage. Fit of wild rage means he got very angry. He could not control his anger. And because of this, he became so disturbed that he could neither eat nor he could sleep. So he became so disturbed with the doing of Shivaji. Now what he did? He said, one Sardar is already dead, so let me lay eyes on another Sardar. So he dispatched another Sardar, that is Siddhi Johar, against Shivaji. So now he prepared another Sardar to go and fight against Shivaji. And why did he choose Siddhi Johar? Because Siddhi Johar had a big army. Okay, he had a huge army. And now he felt that, Adil Shah felt that whatever Afzal Khan couldn't do, Siddhi Johar would definitely do. So he had a big huge army with him. And Fazal Khan also wanted to avenge his father's death. So he also went along with Siddhi Johar in order to defeat Shivaji. Okay, so this is a picture of Fazal Khan who wanted to, you can say, revenge his father's death. He wanted to take badla for his father's death. His father Afzal Khan was killed by Shivaji Maharaj, isn't it? So this is how the story moves on and the siege of Panhalgarh happens. Panhalgarh means the fort of Panhala, which is Panhalgarh. So this is how the siege of Panhalgarh happens. Now let us take a look at the new character that we have in this particular part of the story. In the previous story, the character that we had was the character of Afzal Khan. So here we have a new character, Siddhi Johar. So come on, let us take a look at his personality. How was he? Now Siddhi Johar, he was very brave, but he was ruthless. Ruthless means he did not have any kind of mercy or love or compassion within him. He was a strict disciplinarian. That is, he stuck to discipline. He had lots of rules and regulations which he followed. And he was very strict about those rules and regulations. He laid siege to Panhalgarh. So what did he see? This is the fort of Panhalgarh. He laid siege to Panhalgarh and confined Shivaji within the fort. So what did he do? He kind of imprisoned Shivaji within the fort. So this is Panhalgarh. He surrounded Panhalgarh from all sides. Okay, so Shivaji was trapped inside the fort of Panhalgarh, you can say. Now the rainy season was approaching, and so what Shivaji thought, that once the rain came out, that is once the rainy season started, and you know it rains very heavily here, okay, Siddhi Johar would lift the siege. That is, Shivaji, he had a foresight. He expected, or you can say he planned, that once it starts raining, Siddhi Johar would definitely run away. Okay, so he thought, it is better for me to sit quietly in the court. See, sometimes it is necessary. Last time also I told you, Shivaji sent a message to Afzal Khan saying that I'm scared of you, I'm frightened of you, so I will come and meet you. There is no harm sometimes in taking this kind of a stand. It is not necessary always to show that I'm very brave and to show off. Okay, so here also, what did Shivaji do? He decided that I will keep quiet and I will wait for the rainy season. And what happened is, Siddhi Johar did not lift the siege. On the contrary, with the arrival of the monsoon, he further tightened the siege. So you can see here, he pushed the soldiers further inside. Okay, so now the fort was again totally surrounded, and during the monsoon also, he did not move from there. Siddhi Johar stayed put over there. Why? Why? Because I told you, he was a very, very strict disciplinarian. He was brave. At the same time, he was ruthless also. Now what happens, children, when you are inside a fort? Okay, there are no fields there, there are no farms there, there are no animals there, there are no gardens there. So what are you supposed to do? You're supposed to get food from outside. Alright, and very soon supplies in the fort were running out. That is, food supply. The rice and the wheat and the jawar and all the oil and masalas, they were getting shorter and shorter. And because of this Siddhi Johar's army, soldiers from outside couldn't enter the fort with all the supplies. Okay, now Shivaji was in a fix. Since he could not force Siddhi Johar to lift the siege by an open battle, he decided to deceive Siddhi Johar by a clever ruse. Ruse means idea. So he knew that Siddhi Johar's army is very huge and he did not have that many men. So if he would go to Siddhi Johar and have an open battle there, Shivaji would definitely be defeated and he would lose Panhala. Okay, so he decided that now it is time to use my brains again. He sent a message to Siddhi Johar to the effect that he would shortly surrender the fort. So he, just like he told Afzal Khan that I will return your forts, I'm scared of you, in the same way he told Siddhi Johar also that I will return all your forts, don't worry, and I will surrender also. What do you think? What must have happened? Siddhi Johar was actually very, very happy. Okay, and you will see that Siddhi's troops, they were already tired of the long siege. They were there for so many months. Even after monsoon started, they were still there waiting outside the fort, waiting for Shivaji to surrender. So they were very, very tired, and they also got very happy because now they could go back home. Okay, they were very pleased to hear that Shivaji agreed to surrender. And what did they do? They relaxed the watch because now they knew that he's going to surrender. So they relaxed the watch and they indulged in food, drink and music. So you can see here in this picture, all of Siddhi Johar's troops, they thought that our enemy is over now, khatam, destroyed, so let us enjoy. And they started enjoying. Now when the enemy becomes a little weak, when the enemy becomes a little careless, that is the time Shivaji used to strike. Okay, so let us see what Shivaji did next. Shivaji actually escaped from the siege. What did he do? He ran away, he escaped. How did he do that? Let's see. So a plan was made to escape from the siege. There were two palkis which were kept ready. So you can see a palki. There were two palkis which were kept ready, and in one there would be Shivaji Maharaj, who would proceed using a difficult route. So he would take a difficult way out of Panhala. Now Panhala is again surrounded by forest on all sides. Okay, and these Mavlas, these Marathas, they knew all the routes because it was their own land. So they decided that there would be two palkis. In one palki, there would be Shivaji Maharaj, and in another palki, someone would impersonate him. Impersonate him means behave like or act like Shivaji. And what would Shivaji do? Shivaji would take the difficult route out. He would take a very difficult way and he would try to escape from the fort. Okay, and the other would be occupied by another person disguised as Shivaji, who would dress up like Shivaji. And for that, they selected a person called Shiva Kashid. Now, who was Shiva Kashid? He was a hairdresser in Shivaji's service. That is, he was a barber. But he was very courageous and he was very shrewd. So, the palki carrying Shiva Kashid came out of Raj Dindi. Now, what is Raj Dindi? Raj Dindi is the proper way out of the fort. Okay, so this one palki was supposed to leave through the Raj Dindi. Now, when someone is going on the Raj Dindi, of course, the soldiers are watching that place, isn't it? So they would be caught easily. This palki would be easily spotted by the enemy forces and it would be captured by them. So the same thing happened. It was a dark night and it was raining heavily. Even then, some soldiers were keeping a close watch. And what did they do? They captured this palki. In the meanwhile, what did Shivaji do? He escaped from the fort using the difficult route. So Shivaji took the difficult route outside the fort. He was accompanied by Baji Prabhu Deshpande and some select soldiers. So he did not take all the soldiers with him. He took certain soldiers, and out of which we are going to talk now about Baji Prabhu Deshpande, because the lesson is totally focused on him, on Baji Prabhu and the memorable battle of Godkind. So the memorable battle of Godkind is also going to happen now. Okay, now what do you think must have happened to the other person who was captured mistakenly? Okay, now the enemy was celebrating. They were happy that Shivaji is caught. But what do you think? Would they let go of a person like this who had cheated them? They would get very angry when they discovered that this person is not Shivaji. And we already know that Siddhi Johar was a very ruthless person. Okay, so that means Shiva Kashid, in fact, had prepared for his death. He had become ready to die that day. So let's see what happened. After some time, Shivaji escaped. Okay, he wanted to reach Vishalgarh, another fort. After some time, the plot of Shiva Kashid was exposed. When they opened the palki, when they pulled him out, when they removed his disguise, they realized that, this is not Shivaji. So this is someone else who's acting like Shivaji. And what do you think must have happened? The furious Siddhi killed him then and there. On the spot, he killed Shiva Kashid. So you can see how Shiva Kashid sacrificed his own life in the cause of Shivaji and Swaraj. He did not even think twice before saying that, okay, I will agree to become you and sit in the palki so that you can escape from another route. Thus, even today, we remember and we talk about Shiva Kashid. See, this has happened so many hundreds of years ago, but even today we are talking about Shiva Kashid, isn't it? That is how he became immortal. Immortal means he will live forever in our hearts, in our stories, and we will keep remembering him anytime, whenever we open a textbook or whenever we open a story or whenever we open a history book. Okay, so this is how Shiva Kashid sacrificed his life for the sake of Swaraj, and he became immortal. Now, when Siddhi learned that Shivaji had given him a slip, giving someone the slip means escaping from the clutches of someone. He was livid with rage, livid. Okay, now in the previous part, you saw that Adil Shah threw a fit of rage. Fit of rage means very angry. Livid with rage also means very, very angry. He got very angry because he was cheated. isn't it? So immediately he dispatched his Sardar, Siddhi Masood, and with a very big army in hot pursuit of Shivaji Maharaj. He said, run, go behind him, take your army and see to it that you catch him and you bring him back with me. Okay, now somehow you will see that Shivaji was, he ran away, he went away with his few men, okay, out of which Baji Prabhu, the brave, was also there. And Shivaji, he crossed the place called as Ghodkind, okay, and now he would be on the plains and he would be going to Vishalgarh. But then there was such a huge army of Siddhi Masood which was following him. If they would catch up with Shivaji, they would definitely kill Shivaji. The same problem was there. Shivaji had few men and the army was very huge. So it was necessary somewhere now to stop Siddhi Masood. There was a place where he would have to be stopped, and this place was the Ghodkind Pass. So now we'll talk about the Ghodkind Pass. So this was a very small, narrow, you can say pass or path which connected one part to another. So if you wanted to go towards Vishalgarh, if you wanted to follow Shivaji, if Siddhi Masood's army had to follow Shivaji Maharaj and catch him, they would have to go through this particular pass which was called as the Ghodkind. Now Ghodkind means what? What is the meaning of Ghodkind? Kind means a mountain pass. Okay, a pass means where there is a little pathway between two mountains and it is a natural thing. Okay, you cannot make a pass. It is a natural occurrence. It's a natural geographical feature. It's a pass. And Ghod means horse in Marathi. So Ghodkind is actually translates to horse pass. It's a mountain pass. And you can see that when there is a narrow path, it is difficult for the army to cross in huge numbers. You can stop them here. Okay, and that is what was planned by Baji Prabhu. So how did we do it? How did he do it? Let us see. So the angry troops of the Siddhi Masood were fast galloping towards the Ghodkind Pass. Shivaji saw that it was impossible to reach Vishalgarh before the enemy overtook them. So now the enemy would somehow catch up because the army was huge and they would capture Shivaji, and the army would not, Shivaji's army was less in number. He had very few people with him. That is when he had a discussion with Baji Prabhu. He said, Baji, this is a very critical situation. Critical means a very serious situation. The road ahead is steep. Steep means very, you can say steep means very tilted. Okay, not plain land. And the enemy is right on our heels. It is now impossible to reach Vishalgarh. So let us turn back and face the army. So this was the first choice that Shivaji Maharaj had. He said, let us do one thing now. Instead of trying to climb up, let us turn back and face the enemy. Why? Because it is going to be very difficult for us to proceed, because this huge army will very fast be upon us. So what should we do? We should turn back and we should face the enemy. Let's see what Baji Prabhu had to say. Baji Prabhu understood the great agitation going on in Shivaji's mind. The enemy was fast approaching the pass. Now the pass was kind of a divide between Shivaji and Siddhi Masood's army. The life of Shivaji and therefore Swaraj was in danger. More than the life of Shivaji, everyone was concerned about Swaraj, because once Shivaji would be there, only then the idea of Swaraj would exist. He said, Maharaj, you must proceed to Vishalgarh. Take a handful of soldiers with you. I shall defend this pass and I will not let the enemy cross it. And since the pass is very narrow, it would have been easy for Baji Prabhu to guard the pass. I shall lay down my life in defense of this pass if need be. If I die, there will be many other Bajis to take my place, but no one can replace you. Our Swaraj needs you. So these were the words of Baji Prabhu Deshpande. Okay, so what did he agree to, or he suggested that Shivaji Maharaj should proceed. He should move on and work towards the Swaraj. He said that if you pass away,
if something happens to you, there will be no Swaraj. So he said, I will stay here, you proceed to Vishalgarh, I will stay here and I will guard this pass. I will see to it that no one comes from here very easily. And he said, our Swaraj needs you. Okay, so this is the first half of this lesson, children, the first video that I am putting up for this particular lesson. So here we saw how Adil Shah, in a fit of rage, he sent Siddhi Johar, and Siddhi Johar also laid siege to the fort of Panhala to confine Shivaji inside the fort. And we saw that how he stayed put, that is, he did not move from there. And because of lack of supplies or ration, Shivaji Maharaj had to finally think about a way to escape from there. And he was a very wise person. He knew that Siddhi Johar had a huge army and he knew that he would not be able to fight with him in the open. That is why he decided to escape. And escape he did. And he could escape because of the sacrifice made by his hairdresser Shiva Kashid. And finally we saw now it has come to such an effect, the story has reached such a point that Shivaji Maharaj has to reach Vishalgarh. At the same time, someone has to stop the army of Siddhi Masood. And who became another person to sacrifice himself? Who was ready to make this sacrifice? It was Baji Prabhu Deshpande. So let us see in the next video that I put up what happens. Is Baji Prabhu successful in guarding the pass, or does the army of Siddhi Masood catch up with Shivaji? Was Shivaji able to reach the fort of Vishalgarh? And was Baji Prabhu able to save his own life after stopping the army or the enemy? So all this we will see in the lesson next time. So children, watch the complete video, and after you watch the video there are some tasks also that I have set for you. So come on, let me tell you what these tasks are going to be.
So children, now you have watched the video. So after you watch the video now, you will have to complete a few simple tasks. Now you might have watched the video on your computers or your laptops or your mobile phones. Now after you watch the video, what will you do? You will please go to the description box which is given below the video. So what is the description box? See, the description box looks like this. Alright, and after you go to the description box, you will see that there are a few questions there. Now what are these questions about? These questions are about the lesson that we just learned or the video that you just watched. So what will you do? You will think back properly about the lesson and you will try and answer these questions and note down the answers in your notebook if you want. Okay? After that, we have another task waiting. You will also click on the link which you will find in the description box to fill up the Google form. So now what is the Google form, children? It is nothing but a simple form. There are a few simple questions there about the video which you just saw and also about yourself. So these are the tasks now that you will have to complete after you watch each video. So children, wasn't that a very interesting lesson? I'm sure you learnt a lot of new things in this lesson. If you have liked this video, please hit the like button and also subscribe to my video so that you will get to see all the videos which I keep posting regularly.